again, guys, for another Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. So, on the last episode, basically we're just doing our usual snooping around at the police station. So, we managed to get some, using our trusty luminol and along with some interesting things to identify the fingerprints. We got to the crime scene, which took place in an evidence room where there's some leftover blood left behind, and then we also put together a vase that's for some reason there, but we found out it's a vase, but it's missing a piece. But by using our new equipment that we used to basically find some fingerprints, we found out that there's one set of fingerprints that turns out that one of the police officers, or in this case it was Jake Marshall, have his fingerprints on a bloody handprint. So things are not looking really aligning right at this point. But we gathered all the evidence we could, and now we're going straight into trial. So, let's continue from there. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2.
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution's as confused as we are. After all... Oh, it's Lana.
Is that me?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes.
Lana!
Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed.
I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning.
We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though.
So how'd it go?
It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain.
A plea bargain? What do you mean by that?
We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma.
But Lana, don't tell me you...
Much to my regret. I'm as much in the dark about this as they are.
Miss Sky, we found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall.
What kind of trace evidence?
Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up in my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall, who had a crush on? Oh no.
It's either that or your freaking sister, but we have to play the cards we are dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky?
Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright.
Man, we're gonna pin this on our Marshall so hard.
Nobody likes
Or you could
cowboys
just
anyway.
bluff what your hand is, like we usually do.
Wing it.
Alright, we're gonna wing the shit out of this.
Fire from the hip, like a cowboy. Play his own game.
Just shoot him in court and quickly.
Oh my god, I like a trial by gun duel.
Yeah.
just like when he's testifying, also have him hanging from a noose. Just
Oh,
Oh my god.
like with the board ready to slide out from underneath.
Ready to kick the chair. out
Kick the
from
chair.
under.
Yeah.
California has really anime-fied their fucking capital punishment. But anyways,
It was the Marshals. It was by the Marshals' suggestion.
I guess. All right, February
You
20th.
might actually go for that.
Oh god, February 24th, 10 a.m. Courtroom number 9.
Rubble. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 30 minutes by car to visit the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car, which isn't suspicious at all.
Wow, this is one messed up trial.
One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. Sounds so on top of things. Is it like that with you guys? Even
No.
though he doesn't even know what's going on himself.
On top of Phoenix, I mean...
Now, you know we only reserve that on Wednesdays, but we're supposed to be an admirable trait.
I thought it was Thursdays.
No, Thursdays was... Fuck it. Anyways.
Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Oh, boy! Things are getting wild from the get-go. Oh, hey.
Ah, jeez.
Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Alright, who ought to be Meekins? Because I'm not sure if I can go with this.
I can go if no one else will.
I can do it. He sounds fun. Yes, yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is that would be murderer, sir.
Oh, God.
Oh, he confessed. Job's done.
Oh, God.
Ah, jeez. Guilty. So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Oh, Agent 47. Never would have suspected it.
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what? Oh, shit. Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir.
Hip, sir!
A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend.
Yep.
Okay, Boomer.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Help me, sir.
Officer Meekins,
Yes, sir.
give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Sir, as you wish. After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir.
Damn
God
it.
dang it.
Guess you can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Crime reports, sir.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out, until another officer smacked me awake.
Oh, no.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness? Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
It's a gumshoe.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info
Maybe-
to work with.
Maybe someone else could be Meekins. I feel like I'm gonna end up talking the entire time.
Sorry, yeah. If you like, I can take over.
Sure.
Alright.
I think we should press everything because honestly, his whole thing
Oh,
seems
jeez.
kind of wonky.
Yep. Others than my normal duty. I was assigned a guard room that day. Why were you assigned? Mr. Meekins, you work in the General's Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Oh. Yikes, now that's a scary thought.
Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. Judge?
The Blue Badger!
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir.
Yo, I'm dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Get
I was
used to
to
the...
sure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I love him.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Ah.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
I needed to keep him safe.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there?
Because that would make sense when he said that, because if you look at the badge, it has handprints on it.
Oh, if we would have dusted those from...
Yeah.
Maybe-
I don't know if we can look at it right now. No, we can't. It's just a picture of it, unfortunately. But
we
it
couldn't put the whole thing in our
May,
pocket.
I mean,
He said he wanted to protect it, so how did it get damaged?
because it was in the evidence room where the first murder took
The
place.
fight took place. Okay.
So yeah, so this had some missing handprints from that. But other than that, I think that's gonna become important later.
Question this one.
About a
Why does he
suspicious
think he's
man.
suspicious?
In order to enter the evidence room, you will need an ID card. Am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. I'm one of those guys that wears my ID on my neck.
So am I. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
It would be one of the
Uh,
491.
maybe he's 420.
Ah, there it is! I found it! It's this one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Where's the 777? Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. It's this number here, 4989596. That's my number, sir.
I see. Huh. But the number 4989596 is shown being used twice.
My name is Mike.
Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I was spotted the man on the security screen.
They are added to the ID court record. The IDs of all who entered the evidence room in 221.
Or well, except for the 77.
Oh.
But that could just be the.
We gotta
guest
find out
room.
who is the 420 man, so.
Who attacked him?
Alright, so let's question this one. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife. Knife
Detective
attacked
Goodman
me.
pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
But that's when I reacted, sir. My cat-like instincts. I swung my arm like an octopus. Okay, not quite a cat, then. Struggling to detain him.
8 sword style.
My octopus-like reflexes. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be all.
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
Alright. I fought for my life and he did it.
My
What
life.
should you do?
And I
That has the
did
vaguest testimony.
What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir.
God damn
Jackie
it.
Chan?
The man let his guard down for just an instant. Then I snatched his knife from him. Crouching
Roger.
tiger, hidden lion.
Is your favorite movie Super Cop by any chance? Alright, you took his knife?
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver, sir.
Oh shit.
I made sure to close my eyes like a real man.
No. See, he must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew, I don't know.
Yes.
He punched me right in my face, sir. Oh. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Yeah, we had that
Oh,
already.
whoops.
What is
Didn't mean to
he
do that.
hoping?
This is what he was telling us yesterday, but he never actually says he stabbed him.
Well, we need to try and skim for some more details from for starters. That's what an officer from the General Affairs Department doing there in the first place.
Right, let's press him for all he's worth. Which is probably
Alright,
the
I didn't press the last one by accident.
You're gonna
here.
squeeze all the guts out.
Yeah, let's, come on. Let's, keep telling me what to do, man. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out. Another officer. Who was this officer? About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right.
According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
You hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
Oh,
That's nice. I mean, it's nice you recovered, that is.
what the hell, Doug?
Right. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
What is what?
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim?
He's got a point.
Etho,
Yes, Officer Meekins?
with regard to that, sir. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
Huh.
The chief?
Delivered it?
What is that? A videotape?
Come on, you should know this one, Judge.
How did you videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. Videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Slay up.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. That's the only thing I'm really good at.
Poor baby.
Looks like communication with the police department is good as ever.
Oh, sorry. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Does anyone have a VHS player here? Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just what we're getting ourselves into. We're gonna watch a free snuff film, guys!
Woohoo!
can bump up the rating of
Moving images even.
Oh my god.
Oh.
More
God,
movies?
that's
Get
creepy.
used to this.
Oh, this is not creepy at all. It's like
Yeah.
We're gonna
freaking-
move the camera, and then
Is
like
this-
the little statue's gonna
Why is the
move. like,
camera-
Oh
moving.
shit!
The
Is this
camera
Five
moves on
Nights
its
at
own.
Freddy's?
It is Five Nights at
Oh yeah, it
Freddy's.
is. But
Okay, so wait, it's what time is that? It is 5. Oh, he dropped something.
Oh, a letter. Yeah.
Oh, we can't
it
even
was
see
the
his
it was the
face.
glove. The glove dropped.
Yeah.
Was it the? Oh yeah, it could have
Oh,
been
there
the.
he is. He's walking.
There's me.
You can look and
Oh
tell.
Oh my god,
now.
the camera's gonna pan back like after it happens.
Oh, is he doing? Oh shit! He sliced him.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
oh gosh, the flag. The flag was covering his face the whole time.
Pretty clever.
I mean, from this video, it looks like Beacons was killed.
Yeah.
Beacons down.
I mean, if you notice, like he cut him and he put blood on him.
Hmm. Very confusing.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Ellipsis.
His eyes.
I like how you guys match kind of now.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with this? How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? I
Therapy.
know. Let's go to the evidence room.
Yo.
What's that wiggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. This is Blue Badgers, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the courtroom record. Alright, let's see. Oh, let's place that.
Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room, and some sort of, activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
The Mystery Man.
His face can't be seen clearly in the video,
Can't be seen at all.
but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, when he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker. Yes, sir. It must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
Oh boy.
What about that glove that fell out?
Hell yeah.
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman.
It's fingerprints.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination would lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start.
Yeah, to be specific, the person there had to have Detective Goodman's fingerprints.
True.
But
Well,
not
question
necessarily
last week where he
Detective
says no one else could, because maybe you could bring up the fact that if you
Okay, so we have to find out, because this one has a picture of Goodman's face in it, right? So he thinks he knows
yeah,
it's
yeah.
him.
But we never got a look at his face in the
Yeah.
in the video.
I don't think he ever said he saw his face or he knew him.
Yeah, he kind of like turned around and stabbed him in the
Well, he said he knows it's him because he opened that specific locker. So
Yeah.
we
Ask him
gotta
about the locker.
maybe. So,
Well,
but
but
let's see.
I think the locker. There was something that fell out of the locker whenever he opened it.
Oh wait, I can't
Yeah,
take a
the-
look at that. Okay.
It could have been
It could've-
the glove.
We can check the whole video again.
Like, what if it
Oh
wasn't
boy.
completely closed?
Alright, so we know it's that back one right there, but then is there a way to fast forward
Yeah,
this?
I know. There needs to be a fast forward button.
It doesn't give me a
Um,
fast
yeah.
forward button.
Oh man, that sucks.
that
I couldn't even get the
animation.
music anymore. That was the best part.
Yeah, so he opened it, but we did see the glove fell down.
Okay,
Oh.
glove fell down. Can you tell if he's like wearing gloves there?
He's not wearing a glove there.
Because he could have been wearing something with Detective Goodman's fingerprints on it.
That's where we're going.
Or he's holding something that had the fingerprint.
Then he like sliced him,
Yeah.
and then he was fighting him, but he got blood on his shoulder there. So
Because that goes against my like he was just like presenting him. Oh hey, I have this knife, but no, that like clearly looked like an attack.
So let's
Yeah.
see. So okay, so
Which
the
we'll
evidence
see
thing is
now.
open. So, but other than that, we're gonna have
Oh,
to.
the light. Was the light on? But I was looking at the wrong place. I thought the light was on the handle, but was the light on the door?
Let's see
'Cause
here.
The indicator light would say if it was
present-
locked or not.
Because there's that. It says.
What if it was like left with that paper in it that like it kept it open somehow? Like
Okay.
it wasn't really locked.
So let's see. So we're gonna have to find a contradiction in the statement eventually. So let's see.
The other thing is, we think it was Marshall, right? Marshall watches the room and he can turn the power on and off, so
You can.
he might be able to supersede the normal requirements.
Okay. So I mean, when he opened the locker, which requires the detective, you want to press this one here? Let's see.
Yeah.
I want to press the last one, where he says no one else could possibly do it.
I mean, that's probably that one. So.
Hmm.
so unless we get the
This
last
one, I want to press this one.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. Haha, the footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it.
Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Let's check the
Is
court
there a
record.
problem with
Oh,
the
man.
video
There's
security?
tons of problems.
Nah, I don't think there's no problem with this. Nah, I'm fucking kidding. There is a problem.
Yep, Officer Meekins is guilty.
Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange.
The contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video.
He would want me to
Really
point
making
it
us
out.
rewatch that again.
Did somebody say that
Proposal
the-
accepted.
was the locker already lit up, saying it would be open?
Let
I
us
think that's-
better inspect this piece of evidence. I think it was already lit up.
That's
Okay.
the question, yeah.
Let's watch the video closely.
I will now play the security tape.
Again.
Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point a problem in the video. This is the first time I ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright. You can watch a video. It's set up so that you can fast forward,
Oh, thank you.
rewind, or pause the video.
Thank God.
I thought
If only you could do that all the time.
Just
Quick
take
time
a good
event.
look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Maybe we just unlock the fast forward and everything.
I don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching the video.
No one can.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman?
Alright, so
See?
fast
Dead light,
forward.
dead light, dead light, dead
Ah.
on. Pause.
Okay,
On.
pause,
Oh.
backspace.
Like
Uh,
that light.
Oh.
Click, click, click.
Bam.
Slam that shit. The thing that's strange about this video has to be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir? Do you mean me?
As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprints if it's a match. The light turns on when the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, yes, that's the way I understand it, sir.
Does he not have a locker of his own?
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture.
The music's still playing.
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing the
I think
song.
only the detectives have lockers. I don't think the lower level cops do.
Are we gonna have to watch this entire thing again?
Yes, I can't fast forward this.
Nice.
Hello, we're hiding his face. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind a little earlier.
Let's rewind very slowly.
This is the slowest like
Music is getting
VCR.
old.
Frame by frame.
It must have been 1991 VCR.
Yeah, black and white.
Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Order, order. What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
Have you always been an expert at something, Judge? Other than cocaine?
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh, it was the glove. The glove was jamming probably the lock.
Oh, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut.
Oh.
So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Ellipsis? Yes,
We know
well,
the answer, right?
you see, this isn't exactly my field.
Oh, you're a novice.
What do you
too.
think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Huh? Maybe something like jammed the system sensor, like that specific, the very suspicious glove.
Something
Bingo.
jammed the sensor, say.
This is his name.
There is something else that seems out of place in this photo. Or video, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Now we gotta rewatch the video and click on it again.
Yeah!
There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Let's rewatch this riveting video again.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. Let's continue to watch it again and again.
One
The locker
more
wasn't
time.
locked. Mr. Wright, please put the cause.
Oh, fuck it.
Is this
Ah!
song on Spotify?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Because the whole
Alright,
soundtrack
so
is
we're
on
going-
Spotify.
Oh, really?
Ice cream
Eh.
truck
What
music.
is this glove?
Whoa!
Like a. Take that.
Slam it. Please watch
Don't
closely.
slam your hands, please.
This is where the continuation, the part I
Good.
showed you earlier. This
Like
this fucking
tempting.
desk is mine, sir. I can slam it whenever I want.
I'll hold you
Oh boy,
contempt.
here we go.
Let's watch it again.
At least the music's off this time.
Hold on. Stop it. I need the sound.
Nah, man.
How can I put
I
this
put it
up
on
if I
mute for the
can't hear it?
sake of the people watching this video.
I need to hear it. What's this?
Oh, rewind again. We gotta watch it again.
Something white fell out of the locker.
I mean, also
Is that cocaine?
God damn it.
Sir, it's been my experience that things fall out of doors all the time when the doors are open. I fall out in great distances when I open my door.
I can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers a lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Insert?
You know, insert things.
For those of you watching at home, feel free to rewind back like 5 minutes where I said this.
So you can fast forward your own damn video.
Oh yeah, that too. Please. Also, you can skip through all the video parts.
Yep, there
Oh,
goes the
man.
glove. The white thing that wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Dumb.
Oh, oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir.
Oh, damn.
That's why all the bad guys get away all the time. Instead, you know.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Ooh, you're talking science.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene?
There just might be. Sorry. There just might have
Do we
been
have the
something
glove?
that fits the description. We
I
do.
think it's in the court record.
But sir, by insulator, you don't mean.
I think I finally got this figured out.
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence?
No. Kidding.
Oh, well, dang. You're in contempt. Get out of here. Case is adjourned.
The end.
Well, I done fucked us. Sorry about your sister, Emma. Alright, let's see. Glove. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, if it's a rubber glove. Yeah, it's
Extremely
literally.
thin.
Extremely
rubber,
thin.
Mm.
I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove, sponsored by Trojan.
You don't even know it's
No
there.
love, no love.
But we can't be sure that it was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident.
Oh, that would have been literally in the locker.
The video seemed to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit the lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even would have opened that locker. Is it not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so. Sir.
Rabble.
Order. So, are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this.
What?
Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir. I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir.
Just like we coached.
Oh, you mean the thing. That, sir. Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony.
The Mystery Man. Ooh. It's like a terrible movie.
The sequel. There's one thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. Yeah, that one. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. And at the time of the crime, the detective has used his card. There you go. It's my
An
favorite
ID
word.
card record, I see.
The card could have been stolen.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
That is a good
That's a good
question.
point.
Who's getting
particular-
high at 420?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Excuse me. Special cases.
Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
They need a whole room for that?
I mean,
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Japanifornia is a very violent place. Me too. Although it doesn't make much of a difference.
Or does it?
There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination.
Mr. Man 2. The mystery.
I think we can show the lost ID form that we have.
Alright, there's another
The
thing
lost
to
item
prove.
form?
Really? Yeah.
Okay, so proves you enter the evidence room and must use your ID card. When the ID card is used, there's a record of it. Okay. At the time of the crime, the detective had to use his card.
Let's press that.
Yeah.
Earlier, I believe he testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID cards, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, it would all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Unless he wouldn't match the ID.
Maybe he just panicked. Like I do all the
To
time.
pull a fucking knife. Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is too far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth has missed something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got.
Okay, so let me look through all the evidence real quick here. So,
I really think we're supposed to show the lost
hold on.
form.
Can I? Oh,
That
is
one,
true.
yes.
Yeah. I forgot we had this. So.
Oh, yeah, maybe he, like, lost his ID and then someone else.
So let's get to the part where he says he has to use his ID. So we can present that
Yeah.
here. Say that's impossible because he didn't.
Music stuff.
Wait a moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
Lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess, you believe this something is to be his ID card, right?
I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Bravo.
There. So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't require much thought. The man Officer Beacon's encounter in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Nani? Shadow Moses, does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense.
What?
Bravo, Mr. Wright.
Bravo!
Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright?
Yes. What's he up to?
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder.
That is... Well, I guess you're... that's right.
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around.
This isn't going to end well.
Be nice to your boyfriend.
Well,
How can I be nice to a guy who isn't nice to me?
it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Oh, sorry. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me.
I wasn't listening.
The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So,
So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot,
that's what I was going to say.
at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye,
There's
the
still a
defendant.
time problem here.
Yeah.
The evidence is compelling.
Is it though?
A trustworthy witness. Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon.
Ah! Oh no! Ah! Ah, man. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered?
Officer Marshall,
And where did this person disappear to? However,
Texas.
this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Yeah, win.
Sorry, muting myself. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana, distract your boyfriend.
What can I do? How am I supposed to distract a man like this? I guess the only thing I know how to distract is do objectifying things.
But
Oh, I was thinking something totally different.
One moment, Your Honor.
What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven.
I'm
Mm-mm.
objecting myself.
Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecutor's trap.
What are you talking about?
The cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Oh god, how many times do I have to see this video?
let's watch the whole video. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun,
Even better the fifth time we've
What a
watched it.
cover.
dun.
However, it cannot be said that it's unrelated to the murder in the parking lot.
Wait, did you see something sticking out of...
Let's go back.
Specifically, a large amount of blood traces were found in the evidence room.
Ellipses.
The defense demand further examination into the truth of the matter.
Oopsies. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Excuse me.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considers the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident.
This just might be my chance.
It's Hail Mary.
Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Oh shit.
Mr. Wright, do you mean?
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh, whom do you have in mind?
Is it a cowboy?
Someone we have a reason to believe that knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
The prosecution requests to hear this person's name
No.
before deciding whether or not to comply.
Hush you just comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you'd have to testify.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is his or her name?
Texas Walker Ranger, also known as Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Don't call Chuck Norris. his
Sorry,
name.
we're calling it a certain Texas
Bring back
Ranger.
bento box, lady.
It's
Yeah.
Meekins again.
Call Goodman.
Kids, bring back
It was Emma, Your Honor! Just kidding.
Back from the grave.
Anyways, let's get this cab away in here. Officer Jake Marshall.
Why him?
I can't let Edward know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
The prosecution agrees to the defense's request.
That's easy.
Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. That's enough time for me to get some coke.
God damn
The
it.
court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed.
Ugh.
Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
Give him a big hug.
We will, Your Honor.
Give him a big hug.
Court is now in recess. Yeah!
Yay! I'm gonna get on the monkey bars.
Anybody ever want to play dodgeball?
I do.
Can you guys hold on a
Oh,
minute?
boy,
I'm gonna
that's-
grab a bottle of water to drink really quick. Be right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hydration is important.
Can you get me
It
one?
is.
Oh.
And coffee is not hydration.
That's lies.
It's like reverse
Coffee
water.
is a diuretic. It makes you pee more.
It ultimately results in more hydration.
Yeah.
Like,
Does it?
You're not gonna pee the whole thing.
I mean, it has liquid in it, but then it just makes you lose liquid, so overall it's a loss. It's a diuretic.
But there's
So, like,
water
alcohol?
in coffee. I don't get it.
So
I don't-
okay,
I don't-
you drink coffee, right? You drink the
I
coffee,
do.
which
I drink
coffee
the
is made with
coffee.
water, so now you have more water. But caffeine is a stimulant and makes you have to go to the bathroom more, so you end up expelling more liquid than you took in.
So it's a net loss. It's not a
Net loss, yeah.
I was like celery.
What if you drink like 5 cups and then you hold it?
Oh my god.
Your bladder will explode.
But you
I-
didn't.
They
go to
say
the
for
bathroom.
every cup of coffee to drink 2 cups of water to balance out.
Oh god, I never do that.
I don't. I have to double. I call for a fact check. I objection.
And like, what if you have like creamer or like milk in your coffee? How does that factor in?
There's still coffee in there.
You're getting a
I
lot
don't
of
think- I don't
sugar.
think that helps you.
Oh, I definitely put way too much sugar in my coffee.
What if you put water in your coffee?
Alright.
Then you're disgusting.
Already water in
Why?
the coffee. It's water.
What
Isn't
about
that an Americano?
Googled it, okay?
Still coffee.
For
That is an
every
Americano,
cup of
yeah.
coffee or 2 cups of black tea, you should drink 1 cup of water to make up for the diuretic effect.
so what you're
Yeah,
saying
we have a
is,
medical expert. Facts
Right.
win, you lose.
if I get water with my
Wikipedia.
coffee, I shouldn't feel the crash, right?
I don't know about that.
I mean, you
Do you
still
feel
have
like crash after
but at least you won't be
drinking
dehydrated.
I guess that's true. You always gotta stay hydrated for these things. Alright.
Hydration.
Let's get back to business here. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean?
That's what Edgeworth said.
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out yet.
I've connected the dots.
Why is she wearing something like a military uniform? She's got like medals and epaulets and.
She's just trying to tell
Badass.
you that she is badass to be in the military police here, but
Lana, I thought she's a prosecutor, but used to be a police
she's
officer.
like chief of prosecutors, yeah.
You're the one who knows everything. Spill it.
Emma,
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you, even fighting with his boyfriend.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Your sister? No.
God
I
damn.
hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Yes,
Perfect
you are.
timing.
I think he's gonna lose a portion of his paycheck to this.
Oh,
Can't demote me if you're in jail.
I'll come back later.
Oh, poor Gumshoe. Come back. I
Aw.
want
Wait,
to
Detective Gumshoe. What is it, man?
You got a lot of noise, pal. Making a detective run around all while on duty. And to top it off, do you call me here? I've seen half your people's funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
Though, to be fair, those dancing pallbearers are pretty lit.
Whoa.
I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
I can't stop this.
Is he like really excited? Is he in love with her?
I mean,
I brought my bell
he
to go
does
ding.
have a picture of somebody, of a lady in his locker. I'm not sure if it's her.
I don't think so.
No.
And we don't meet his love interest until the next game, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
love interest?
Don't worry about it.
The gender is left vague.
You mean this, right?
Just the way I like it. My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name?
Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident?
But Lana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
Read them.
I can't believe you. The chief prosecutor were witness in that case.
This guy was a witness? SL9 incident file retrieved from Lana Sky. Files for the Joe Drake killings solved 2 years ago.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders.
Ellipsis.
Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Poor Gumshoe.
Emma, but why? Why is your name in here?
What? My name's in there. I don't remember being killed.
She's guilty.
She killed him.
She's the victim. Oh, yeah, she's the killer.
No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that?
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings.
Oh, Joe Dark. Okay.
Dun dun dun.
The Joe Dark. No, Lana! It's over with, no!
Oh. Emma, wait!
Aw.
And she ran away.
Joe Dark killed their parents. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Maybe he's late for his 8:30 dinner. Let's see. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence.
Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out.
Or you could just frickin' tell me, lady.
Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck.
Maybe she needs to get back watching her soap opera on her phone or something. I better take a good look at this file.
Oh, and 20 minutes is enough?
To be continued. Well, it's currently 7:54. Do you guys want to push a bit more, or?
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, let's keep
Yeah,
going.
I can go a little bit longer.
Alright, now I'm just gonna get some coffee to get me through the rest of this.
Hang on, I want some coffee now.
And water, hopefully.
If you guys want to get coffee, we could take a quick coffee break.
Is tea okay? Is tea?
Tea's always okay. And tea, though, for every 2 cups of tea, you should have a glass of water.
Good to know.
Wait, what?
So,
But
one
there's a
cup
lot
of
that could go
tea-
into that. Like if you keep the longer you keep the bag in, like if you're making the tea that way, then the stronger it's gonna be.
concentrated. Yeah.
A white or black tea or green tea. you
There's
know.
that.
Black
And you also
has,
have
like-
like how hot you could steep it in and how long the
Yeah,
heat retains.
There's way more caffeine in black tea.
Yeah, the black tea is basically the highest caffeine count, at least in a domestic sort of thing. But you guys want to get your coffee / tea, or do you guys just want to?
It's definitely a terrible idea to drink coffee at 8 p.m.
But think of
Also
the
that.
things you could do at night. Just kidding.
Mhm.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah, but some of us have work in the morning.
I mean, that is true.
I mean,
I
I don't, so
basically
I'm gonna get
confined
coffee.
this house for another 2 weeks, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Well, at least I get all the time to play MMOs and Skyrim. Anyways.
You bet.
Anyways, February 24th, 12:14 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 9. Give me that yibba.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
Emma didn't come back.
Dum dum dum.
Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Oh yeah.
Really, during court?
Get better than water.
Please.
It's
He's
coffee.
hydrating.
I don't think
Getting
it's
his
water.
coffee break.
He's getting his 1 cup of water for 2 cups of coffee.
I don't think it's
Witness.
water, man.
Please state your name and occupation.
Hold on.
He's taking a long break.
Hold on. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just, man, same as you. Wandering the trails of civilization.
Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, God.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. Give me a sec. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out.
What?
To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Howling wind? I never heard Edgeworth describe it that way before.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct?
According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English.
Oh, no. Not old English. Day of
What is-
crime. We're gonna, like, start quoting, like, freaking Canterbury Tales and shit.
Shakespeare.
Probably would if I could.
I think Shakespeare's modern English. Or... I'm sorry. I'm just
My-
being a nerd.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchid. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but doing my job ain't my style. Besides,
What?
the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down.
God damn it.
I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
Can you tell us more about the system?
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Oh,
God
Ooh.
damn. Wait a minute. What do you mean by
Guy's a
2
maverick.
security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence locker.
Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He's not being very helpful.
How exactly is a fingerprint activated lock activated? I can't quite understand how it works.
he's not that good with machines or with following orders.
Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
He's playing dumb because he was in the room. We have the fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Take him to town.
Tell me there's a snake in your boot. No, I'm kidding. Dave the crime. Alright, so let's see. My job was keep Weira and that bone arc. Whatever. I'm supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but it ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security camera systems anyway. Tell us more about this. You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanisms?
Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works.
What? That's quite, incredible.
The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence.
Now that he mentioned it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place?
Okay.
Getting drunk.
Remember I was a street side
Present his fingerprints.
Guess? Hold on. Besides, room
Because that
protected
proves
by
he
2
wasn't-
security cameras. I remember when I was a streetwise saloon when it went down.
I think, yeah, that...
There might be an innocent traveling man.
Oh,
but you're out of-
present it here. Yeah, he's asking for it.
Okay. Let's see here. Big Marshall Son's handbins.
Yeah,
wipe.
this.
Alright. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd that as you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
Mm-hmm. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint.
Ah, listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
Uh-uh. I wish it were...
They're bloody,
wish
you
it
think.
were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene?
Blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
Huh?
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints?
Very well, you may begin your testimony about the fingerprints found at the scene of the crime.
bloodstained fingerprints.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstain handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint were completely unrelated.
Wait, what?
Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it.
Wait, how do you know about the he was wearing gloves?
The witness's explanation appears valid.
That's a good point, Ed.
Although there's room for doubts. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
You mean No Doubt the band? No.
No.
Nope, sorry.
Sorry. Sorry. Not familiar. The defense may not cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something. I could feel it. Now's my chance to prove it.
He left whiskers behind.
Oh, God. Alright, let's see here. So...
Why is it natural that it's on that locker in particular?
That's because you... How do you put it? Pay your respect once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
What's sticking out of his locker, though?
That's what I'm wondering. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data would never move from the locker's programming. He must have been using his fingerprints to log all this time without ever knowing it. Okay, fingerprints marshals updated.
What updated? Oh, the print.
On lockers on. I think it's just his locker. It's on. It's updated. One of them just happened to be at the same time as the murder touched the locker with my fingerprints by chance. Wait.
What was the next statement?
After this?
Yeah.
The bloodstain and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. I feel like that's where we're supposed to present an evidence or press here, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
gonna
press.
ask how he knew about the glove thing, though, first.
True.
Yeah, the glove
how
thing was
how do you
weird.
knew about the thing you...
Ask about this. How does he know? Like, he shouldn't know.
How do you know that?
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports.
There was a bloodstain at the scene thought to be left by the murderer.
That's right. I found the Detective Gumshoe's locker.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint.
Oh yeah, I think they tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprints. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
The picture?
This seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards.
Huh.
There's only one reality, and that's this.
Security tape?
So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
So, let's see. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Press it?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
You want to tie me in this crime, isn't that right, partner?
Ellipsis.
If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
But the video's next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spot?
God damn it, it's places where you can't see.
Oh, thank you.
The camera's panning back and forth, the floor isn't shown. If someone familiar with the camera position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Oh, Mr. Wright, you could show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present. Please do so now.
Let's show some
Show
evidence here.
Yeah, I guess go for it.
Very
I think
well.
you need to point out the stuff sticking out of his locker.
Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall.
Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Ho-ho.
Please kill me.
Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
Alright,
Wait,
so...
there's nothing in the locker to begin with, but there's something at the end.
That's true. Hold on, let me
So,
fast forward. at
Rewind
least.
for a second.
Fast forward. No, we're gonna see it again after this. So
Okay.
there's nothing there. And he was like, okay, I'm doing a thing. And we got our Papa Meekins over here. He tried to use his Kung Fu, but failed miserably. And then there's nothing there. He's like, damn, I'm dead. And then... Oh!
There.
Ah,
There. He had to go into the locker.
Slam it. Bringing our attention back to the security camera. It's a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers.
I politely disagree with that statement.
Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
You did it. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Wait, for...
That's exactly 8
Yeah.
words.
Well, yeah, bam. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key lies at a certain locker shown in the video. That lie... Sorry.
Fucker with the white claw sticking out. That was a witness's, I believe.
White Claw?
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. We're going back in time. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Meekins.
Meekin's dead.
Doing alright, Meekins?
Nah, man. He's
What?
dreaming he's dancing with the blue badger.
Oh, the white glove. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly disappeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, were you in the evidence room at the time of the crime? What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order, order. It would seem to damn you. Hold your horses, partner. But you got the wrong man.
Ellipsis.
So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Oh, damn.
Even Edward thinks you're full of shit.
The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in.
Excuse me.
It's not my fault he happened to choose mine.
Can we
Even the
present the locker?
judge is just like, you idiot. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
Because you
That's
are.
what you are.
This guy isn't playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who could open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it.
Alright, I hope you can accept proof as a form of failure, man. Let's see.
Keep a
Uh,
locker
Sure,
around
lock
with
this
you
one
everywhere you
here.
go.
Yeah.
Fingerprint sensor.
We talked about this earlier today, man. The locker can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
Oh, what kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
And by some, he means exactly one.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Oh, he's eating his beef jerky.
I only got one word for you, partner. No!
What's with that? He's
You
like
have a
got shot.
He's dead.
He's fucking dead.
Order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I'm sure this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Oh man.
This is some tough beef jerky.
Are you sure it's not expired?
Olay?
Olay.
Olay, please answer the question.
What's with he is now? A bullfighter? Alright. That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can!
Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it.
Alright, where was Officer...
Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
He's the victim. Well, not really the victim.
He's the...
He's
the
the
killer. He's definitely the killer. No, I'm kidding. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
I may point it out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. Hey, guys.
Hey.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show the card, sir.
Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me. It was awful.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why did he just show it?
He would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it.
Ooh.
As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man was Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Chief Tough Turkey.
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it?
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Come up with something better.
Damn it! Insulting the judge will get you in trouble in IRL.
Well, Mr. Wright, I'm just gonna take that. Do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well,
Who
who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
Let's
Up
watch the
this
video
prick, he
again.
insulted me. I could see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
The dessert heat, man. That's some
Dessert.
hot dessert.
Fresh from the
I
oven.
want dessert heat.
Dude, you know what would be a good dessert right now? Fucking cheesecake.
Oh, cheesecake.
Oh, no. I take it back.
Strawberry cookie.
Key lime pie.
Oh, that sounds good. I love key lime pie.
Alright. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he was the one. What can I do? Please help me out
Key
here.
lime pie cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, nice.
It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed.
Don't tell him that I'm still innocent.
I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out.
Is he trying to help? Or
When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics.
Aww.
The basics? Like ABCs? Nah, I'm kidding.
ABC.
Evidence law. Okay.
Evidence law.
For me, it would have been what Mia used to tell me. Oh, it's the dead woman.
Phoenix! Phoenix from beyond the grave. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. Get creative.
I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise.
Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been.
Oh, the clothes.
Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, quote unquote, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
The disguise.
Perhaps
The
the
muffin?
video is the key to all of our
Oh, God,
unanswered
video.
questions. Man, we
Yes.
just love this snuff film. We don't have any evidence, so this body's my only shot.
Crap. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape.
Yay!
Roll the security tape.
After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open this locker.
Fast forward. Is there a way to fast forward faster? No? Okay, fine.
No.
Okay, So he opened this locker. Okay, blah blah, we all know the glove. Meekins comes in. He's like, oh, what the hell? Ah, fuck! And then just,
Oh, no, go back. It's
Eh?
the blood.
What's the
Oh,
knife?
yeah. Yeah, it was the blood.
Let's go back in time. Back in time. Man, this is a slow rewind. Oh, I think right here would be fine.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh.
Slam. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I did not know what to end yet.
Yeah.
However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked. The white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker.
Not bad, partner. Quote unquote.
I'm not your partner, pal.
I'm not your pal, buddy.
I'm not your pal. No, buddy.
Not your
pal.
buddy friend. No, Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth?
You can't handle the truth.
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we?
Uh-oh. Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it, and do it without actually making my boyfriend look terrible.
Hell no. All right. It seems the time has come.
Marshall's confession.
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and I dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. And managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. I felt like he had more to say. So the supposed victim was really you.
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room.
That's true.
If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
That seems like not enough blood.
A lot of blood
That
from
is
a hand.
Way too much blood for a small donation. I don't know, unless he cut a really bad artery, but then again, he wouldn't even be alive. Alright, Marshall Commission. Alright, so he had to do that day.
Question,
Couldn't
why
say
does he-
this.
what-
What's important about that day?
Yeah.
Say what you did. Sorry. When you say it, you mean
Do you even have to ask, partner?
the SO9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with a transferal that day.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
Well, what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
Look at the case file. That day, my last chance. That's why I...
Alright. Let's see. Let's take a look at the actual case file here. Oh, there it is. Man, that's a big stick. Alright, let's see. SO9 incident. Perpetrator Joe Dark. Serial murder. Sentence is death. Victims Edward Jones, Jason Knights,
Ooh,
Neil Marshall.
Neil Marshall.
Alright. So
Dun, dun, dun.
let's see. Miles Edgeworth, last guy. Okay, 2 witnesses. I'll do that one later. And executive investigator, Damon again, Last Sky. Head investigator. Okay. Then there's Jake's Marshall, Angel Star. Alright, so we know that maybe his brother or somebody, Neil, is involved. So I stole the evidence. I plan to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins and knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew what area would be caught. There wasn't any murder. Okay, there wasn't any murder at the evidence room at 5:15.
Press all the statements.
I mean,
we gotta see if something pops up here. So
yeah.
let's
He's
see.
not lying.
I mean, he seems like he doesn't lie, but it seems like it's trying to
Yeah,
lead us to something.
We gotta get more
Because-
information out of
Yeah,
him.
like there's something
Yeah.
to contradict at the moment. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
That was
If I
my
didn't-
question.
It probably didn't matter. If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you did it to fool the security camera.
And a detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident.
So, that really was why Goodman started filling out with the lost item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open the locker yourself.
You could have just because Rubber Glove was happening to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker
Wait,
before
were they working together?
Officer Marshall.
That is weird.
Press this one.
You pulled a knife on Officer Beacons and tried to drive him off?
What the hell, man?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
Aw, poor
Hey,
guy.
he caught him. He caught somebody doing suspicious activity. Come on,
That's my
Edward.
When did Edward get so much influence? Why can't he raise my freaking
Anyway, he
You
threw him.
don't work for him.
Also,
yeah.
like, he's not the chief of police. Why does he get to control the officers' salaries? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything, punching out his teeth.
God damn it. By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one? Hold on, let me just
Ellipsis.
get this one spot.
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and...
Dash escape.
Press this one.
So, you did your research beforehand.
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However, you blooded your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
How was Officer Meekins doing, what was Officer Meekins doing, during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
A knocked out baby?
So what you're saying is on that day...
Okay, there wasn't any
Press
murder.
this one.
But there was a lot of blood, though. But the blood found on the scene clearly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from the locker?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
Ah.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Hey, partner, it's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself.
Oh man, we got the sad anime music popping in.
This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
God damn. Not the salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Goddamn, like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
Can't just forget forget SO9.
I can't just forget the SO9 incident. You know why?
Oh, yeah.
Trust me.
Well,
Or actually,
we
maybe
can
you could
present the
present the
case
evidence.
here, right?
Yeah, can you present it?
Oh.
I think we can present it here.
Yeah.
Do it.
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about SO9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I'm not sure what I mean by that.
It's the quench.
Little quencha.
Do you remember the episode on Avatar: The Last Airbender when Saga was drinking that cactus juice? But anyways,
Yes.
I have the SO9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here.
Exclamation mark!
It's a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man?
That's
Save.
right.
Neil Marshall?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor?
He must have been talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Why does everybody have weird amnesia?
He handled the SL9 case before I did.
I don't know. Can you remember things from 2 years ago?
We also got super high that day.
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember a thing.
Man, that must have been one lit event.
He handled the...
Oh, sorry.
did I
That's
read it already?
oh. He handled yeah, I think so. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother.
Oh,
He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer.
Oh.
Mads Mikkelsen looked good.
Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was
Huh.
arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions?
There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman when he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day.
Huh?
The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance? It's gotta be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office holy crap, in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait, a verdict hasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable.
Really?
If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
I know one
Objection.
word. Ah!
Is that a word?
I rest my case.
Boy.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder of the security camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana's guilty.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant guilty. Ah, god damn it!
Hey, it's her.
It's me.
Your Honor. Wait.
Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Full of
That's never
science
good.
and facts.
I did. Okay.
Right? Right?
What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you with this girl's guardian?
I guess. Your Honor, since.
Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. 60 seconds. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please do it for your boyfriend.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Oh, how generous.
What a generous guy.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky and Sisters were on that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I just examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again.
So, did you find something?
No.
God damn it!
Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Get out of here. Go
Totally
away.
screwed us. Your sister's gonna die and you helped. Well done.
Just wanted to be on the stand for once.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
No, not good enough of an excuse, I'm afraid.
I'm a
can see-
minor.
can see everything from up here.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional and an adult. If anyone can save Lana, it's you, and possibly your boyfriend can help you.
Oh boy!
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
Yes, definitely. It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark.
That's not the blood mark that troubles me.
Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Oh, well, I guess that is troublesome.
Wait, in the video, where was the blue badger? Mr.
Right
Wright,
over it.
I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be in serious trouble.
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If I ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something missing? I object. Nah, there's no problem. Slamming this shit. This handprint left at the crime scene. Really? Shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. Grasping, I
Is that
object.
Mr. Badger?
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor pans. Or Vlad. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, it's strange. Take a look at these floor plans. Something.
Look how strange they are.
It's
Missing?
it's almost like an L.
You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes, something that has been drawn will completely change the meaning of this blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Is it
The video.
The blue badger.
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 Or we could do the video again.
Hold on, just let me take a drink. Take a swig. What about that piece of plywood?
How dare you talk about Blue Badger like that?
The Blue Badger, the mascot of the police force.
The police force mascot.
Defender of the truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So?
So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well,
Well, what? You'll have to spell it out for me.
that's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would have been impossible to place a handprint at the spot on the locker.
What? What?
Yabba. What anime bullshit is this?
That wind effect.
So that means, just what exactly does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there.
Oh,
Mr.
how'd
Wright,
she get there so fast?
think about it through scientifically. I used a portal.
Emma.
And that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would have been impossible to leave a handprint on the locker.
Oh, so that means the blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in.
Just one moment. I'll not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's only possible. Okay, it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
On the time it was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone's blood prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
Too bad.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, this does not explain the blood mark was found in the locker.
So then, assuming this murder you report really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
Show the record of ID card thing.
Yeah.
When it did first.
The 421.
Yeah.
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekun's being caught by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, good God, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on this locker proves that.
Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
Here.
Yeah.
The crime took place inside the evidence room as the killer would have to enter it. In order to do so, the ID card would have been required.
An ID card? Oh, the ID card record.
Officer Meekins brought the blue badge and panel to the evidence room at...
Let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done? I never would have figured you would have the nerve, boy.
Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. Guilty!
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
Gant! I would have just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
Kitty put the body inside the evidence locker. Just kidding.
It's like cuts him up in
God.
little pieces. Oh gosh. That would have been... The crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room.
Let's look at the chart again.
7-7.
There's only one other card number remaining. The 777-777-7.
Some poor guy was just trying to blaze it. Talk about a lucky number.
Lucky.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of this card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer.
Well, this is why you always swipe your badge, even
This
if
is
it's
the
already
only
on.
plausible explanation. That is true. He went with 777-777-7.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777777.
That's 1 too many, Your Honor.
Damn you!
Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son.
The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. It's
That's
Gant,
the end.
someone who is the
Oh, dang.
so-called executive officer.
Gee,
Was him.
wonder who that could be.
We don't have the authority to inquire such a person's identity.
But that's ridiculous. Just how?
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. You sexy piece of ass. In one
Whoa.
situation in which we can be granted such authority,
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted,
An official charge?
you're on the knack, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
Is your brother a prosecutor?
how
I
I
take
know.
pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question.
Yes?
I take it you accepted. No, not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Lana?
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 7777777.
Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SO9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, hung up about this.
Do you need the witness to repeat the question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did.
Ah.
Lana! No. I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. Before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
Uh-oh.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Duh! Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, no! Even if it involved, quote-unquote, forging evidence.
Oh boy.
It's got super serious.
Poor Edgeworth.
He's in trouble with forgery now.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No!
Order! Order!
Lana's mark caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. All
That took
right.
longer than I thought.
That's a good place to call it.
We're
Time to call it a night.
Yeah, definitely call it a night. We're already about to hit 9. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Well, that's a big dun.
Yeah.
Alright, let's save that then. Alrighty then. Thank you guys for joining. Do you guys want to try again Wednesday at 6:30?
I'm down.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't be able to make Wednesday myself, but
Oh, dang it.
That's fine, Nick.
Oh well.
you good.
At least you'd be okay for Monday, possibly at least, right? Or...
Yeah. It's just like the first couple Wednesdays of every month or so. But
Okay.
the rest of the time.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you guys for joining. Sorry it was a extra long session with this extra push there. We just got so absorbed in. But other than that, I'll see you guys again Wednesday at 6:30. So you guys have a wonderful night, alright?
You too.
Alright, you too.
Alright.
See you guys.
Good night, bye.
Feel better
Alright.
too.
Yeah, I feel better.